But you like that.
You like that.
You like that. And I think we like Bill is what we're figuring out.
Yep, gotta love me some Bill. But we're going to get into some news today, some notes we've seen through preseason, some interesting roster potential changes to certain teams, and we'll get into a lot of stuff related to that, as well as our guy Bill.
Indeed, yeah, we're definitely going to be going over him, as well as recapping that Commanders Bengals game from yesterday, which, my goodness, that was a really good game.
Entertaining. Quite a, you've seen some guys show up that you wanted to, or that maybe the hype train with Croskey Merritt. Everyone has wanted to see him on the field a little bit more, get some touches. You saw that 27-yard touchdown, enjoyed that a lot. And we also saw on the other side with the Bengals, Mitchell Tinsley make quite a statement, I would say.
Oh, yeah. No,
against his former team.
That's not what I wanted. That's real bright.
He definitely looked great, made some incredible catches in the end zone nonetheless.
Oh, dude looked awesome. And literally it was like back-to-back plays just to get into the game right away. You know what I mean? This dude was nuts. Like, there's a couple catches that he had on a drive where you're just like, okay, this guy is pretty good. And then all of a sudden he just gets this incredible touchdown catch that was like, what the heck? Next drive for the Commanders, they threw an interception. And literally the very next play on offense, this dude just makes another incredible snag. And you're just like, where has this guy been? Like, is he a rookie? And no, he actually was on the Commanders before, like literally last year. So
yeah, didn't get much run, was kind of a practice squad special teams kind of guy, if that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he had a couple catches maybe during the season, but it was nothing of note. But he looks great. He looks great after this game here. I would love to see them try to incorporate him more in this third preseason game to see what else he's got.
Yeah, I literally said last night, I think Josephus might have lost his job. Like,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. You got Trey Burton, Josephus, and now potentially Mitchell Tinsley in the mix, which could it's a good problem to have if you're the Bengals.
Yeah,
you don't ever want to be depleted of receiver. You never know what could happen, injuries, anything. So you want to be deep at every position, and if you could be deeper at receiver by finding a gem like Tinsley, then go for it. He's only a second-year guy, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
he's got room to develop. He's got Joe, Jamar, and Zach Taylor's stamp of approval.
Yeah, they were all on the sideline going, "What the heck?"
They all have talked about him making plays in camp as well, so he's exciting. I'm more of a dynasty look if you're thinking fantasy wise, deep sleeper, taxi 100%. Squad type of guy.
Yeah,
don't spend too much fab on him.
Yeah, really. He still has T and Jamar over him, so even then, like,
his best case scenario is wide receiver 3.
Yeah,
or he gets traded, or he finds another spot.
I'll tell you this: if one of them gets hurt this year, that dude's gonna be a deep sleeper that all of a sudden is just a beast.
Yep, you never know what could happen, and we'll see. We will see. But
100%.
In other news, we've seen quite a few rookie quarterbacks take the stage in a few games. Shador did not play last game, as far as I know.
No, it was Dylan Gabriel's.
I believe Travis Hunter sat out just for a note. Side note as well.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure the best quarterback in my eyes so far in the preseason, rookie-wise, has been Jackson Dart. He's looked great in both games. A few touchdowns
really
in the second game. And his completion percentage is off the charts for a rookie, playing in the games that he's played, regardless of preseason or not. He looks really good. I'd be very intrigued in Dynasty. Maybe it depends what format you're on in redraft. If you want to just snag him in like the last round or watch him as maybe a pickup later in the season, because I could definitely see him starting at some point.
Yeah, and as a neighbor's owner in our dynasty, like I drafted Dart in the 3rd round with my own pick, and then the way our rosters are constructed and how deep my team is right now, I took a shot on another guy and I couldn't keep him. And at that point, it was all of a sudden, guess who snuck in and stole him from me?
Yep, had to do it. I had to make sure I got a.
Yeah, he stole the stack from me. That's what happened there.
And that's, hey, fine by
good
me.
dynasty play. There.
Yes. There's been a few other guys though that again we mentioned Bill a few times. He looked really good in this preseason game.
He looked so good.
What I looked for is that he ran with energy. And he after every tough run, every good run that he kind of had, he's finishing the play with some energy. He's finishing the play with I'm not just happy to be here. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take this opportunity, take this job by storm. So we'll see what happens with the Brian Robinson situation ahead of him, because they do technically have Brian Robinson as well as Austin Eckler ahead of Jacory Croskey Merritt on the depth chart. But with the Brian Robinson trade rumors, that's now going to swirl into something where Jacory Croskey Merritt becomes a potential starter for them in terms of a lead down role. Maybe not always third down like an Eckler type of play, third and like a receiving back would be still Eckler's role most likely. Jacory Croskey Merritt has looked good in the receiving game, and from what I've heard in reports and beat writers for the Commanders. But Eckler is still there, and if you're looking for Croskey Merritt to save your running back room, I don't know if that's going to happen. I can't guarantee that. But what I can guarantee is he's going to have some type of role at some point, whether it be early, middle, or late in this season, and he's worth a stash in Dynasty. And if you're in a little bit deeper, like a 12-man or more league in a redraft, I would seriously consider him in the late rounds.
For JCM, oh, dude, I'll take him in a 10-man at this point.
With my last pick, maybe, yeah.
Sure, because of his value, but I promise you by the time we're actually drafting in 2 weeks, he'll go up a little bit. Probably not enough, because literally we have like 2 weeks until the NFL season, until we're all drafting, which is nuts. But this dude is really, really talented. And I mean, you can definitely be the guy that's the spokesperson for him, because you've been on him longer than I think anybody that I've known. Like you tried to tell me earlier today that you followed the hype, and I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, you're the first person I heard talk about this guy. Granted, he was a 7th rounder. He has a super interesting story in terms of why he was a 7th rounder. So you can kind of give us the rundown, since he is your dude. But
yeah, I mean,
he's your dude, my guy.
When I was looking into some deep sleepers, I didn't have certain picks in this rookie draft for our dynasty. So certain sleepers I was looking into with my late picks, or trying to maybe trade for late picks.
Yeah, we were both diving into the rookies and really doing our research. And all of a sudden you were telling me, oh, there's so many good like 6th and 7th round rookies this year and stuff. And
there's a lot of depth because of the fact that the running back class was so deep. You didn't necessarily have like multiple Saquons coming out. Obviously, Gentry's going to be good, but I wouldn't compare him to Saquon quite yet.
He's in that tier in terms of draft cap, or
in terms of draft capital, yeah. But Saquon he was the number 2 pick.
He's a different.
He should have been the number 1 pick technically. Brown should have gone Saquon and then Baker at 4, because they had that 4th pick, but they got Denzel Ward and Baker, and now they don't even have Baker. But that's a different story. As far as Croskey Merritt goes, though, he went to, I believe, New Mexico or New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Early on in his collegiate career, and he ended up going to transfer to Arizona. And I don't know the fine details on this necessarily, but I know broad
history of it.
Rough rundown would be like basically to say there was an issue with his eligibility because of some sort of jersey issue, which is very strange. Never heard of anything like that. Like, truly, it was a case of he redshirted, or because he transferred, he couldn't play or something, and a guy used his number, and it was a weird situation. Again, I don't know the fine details, but it had to do with something about his jersey number and the transfer and all that. So that is a big reason why he fell, because he only played 1 game for Arizona. He didn't exactly
he didn't really play in his last season.
But I'm pretty sure he had A decent game. I can actually let me see the stats real quick.
I was gonna go check too, but I've definitely seen some of his college tape too, and dude's a baller. Like he's always kind of been, and it's one of those weird situations where just because of how things worked out for his collegiate career, he ended up slipping to the 7th round, which has never really happened for a breakout running back, especially in their rookie year. There's never been a rookie 7th round running back.
Yeah, the hit percentage is 0%.
Yes. Quite literally. So it just, this dude could break that mold, and I think there might be a couple other guys that are in that late round tier this year that actually could end up having a chance. Like,
and this is going back to his collegiate career. We're just real quick. His one game he did play for Alabama State, it looks like, at some point very early, and then went to New Mexico and had very good numbers in New Mexico. And he was actually, if I'm not mistaken, I was listening to either a podcast or Field Yates or someone within the ESPN maybe community or fantasy football community was basically talking about how if Croskey Merritt had played that, like going into the season, he was transferring to Arizona. He had him ranked above. There was some running back. I wish I could. I apologize for not knowing which one, but there was a decent running back. He had him ranked over, and for my lack of knowledge, I apologize. But at the same time, Croskey, it just shows you could look at his numbers and you could look at his one game from his Wildcats career at Arizona. 106 yards and a touchdown.
That's great.
Take a guess how many carries. I'll give you 4 A, B, and C. A, B, C, and
probably
D.
less than 15.
13 carries.
Yeah.
That right there shows me he was about to be primed for a really nice season.
That's an efficient player right there. A good player that's efficient too.
Yeah, and it shows here in New Mexico, he had one of the greatest seasons ever by a Lobo running back, rushing for 1,190 yards in 12 games on 189 carries, which is absurd.
That's almost 100 yards a game.
And 17 rushing touchdowns.
That's incredible.
That is basically 100 yards a game. He's 10 yards short.
Over a touchdown a game, too. That's nuts.
And he definitely,
that's like a touchdown.
He was named second team All-Mountain West, honorable mention in the All-American College Football News. He added 7 receptions for 72 yards and a receiving touchdown. And his rushing yards that year were the 7th most in New Mexico history. And his 17 rushing touchdowns were 3rd all time in their history. That's 18 incredible. Overall touchdowns was tied for 2nd. And he just really, again, it had nothing to do with him being bad or in trouble or severe injury. All it had to do with was some weird jersey thing. And so I looked at that and I thought to myself, how could you not take a chance on this guy late in the draft? And the Commanders, I did a little bit extra research as well, looked at their roster, saw that it was Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler, and then the rest is like McNichols and Rodriguez.
Yeah. With the whole Brian Robinson rumors of him being
this was before that.
Yeah. Even
so when I was looking a few months ago, I was kind of looking at the what do we call it? The depth chart and the contracts of all these players on the Commanders at running back. And what I noticed was none of them are signed after this season, as well as the fact that Eckler is older. Brian Robinson is finishing his rookie contract. Now you hear the trade rumors, at least, we all do months later from when I was researching it.
Yeah.
So this just gives me more confidence in my pick, and it should give you more confidence in the fact that Jacory Croskey Merritt is actually going to be a real thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's no issue here with taking a chance on him because it won't cost a lot if you do it in the right time.
Yeah, no, I think truly, I think you found a hidden gem here with this guy. And in general, he's just, if you haven't figured it out, Bill, which is what he prefers to go by, Bill is our Bucky Irving this year. That's what I'm thinking. I've been not exactly looking to find who's the Bucky Irving this year, but there's always usually a late round running back or some type of dude that ends up getting more work, or even an undrafted type of guy. We always kind of see that either every season or almost every other season type of thing. So with Bucky Irving last year, he wasn't undrafted, but he was a third, fourth rounder. So he was a guy that kind of went under the radar. I remember watching his tape last season and going, this guy is ridiculous.
Yeah, and you can, just to add on to that, you saying he's a third, fourth rounder, you can consider Bill Croskey Merritt to be a third or fourth rounder if the eligibility issue was not a thing. He was easily going to be,
depending on how his junior season went, even
he probably would have taken latest fifth, and that would have been, again, because of the depth. He would not have come close to the seventh.
I would say he could have had the potential to be higher even. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think definitely that guy is a baller, but I didn't necessarily find him because he was a 7th round pick when I was doing my research. That's not something I usually look at because historically the hit rate is 0.
And I felt like taking the chance this year was worth looking at.
Plus, you had seen his tape and just
that's something I don't think you can ignore if you actually watch his tape. He's very explosive.
That's something definitely that I'm going to do a lot more segments here on the channel about, because a big part of the game to me and a big part of fantasy is the eye test. It's not always the stats don't always tell the truth in a lot of senses. And sometimes guys don't get the opportunity that they need to shine.
There have been plenty of running backs that have looked better than they are because of offensive situations they're in, offensive lines. So the eye test matters in a lot of situations. Saquon made a lot of his career early, just like McCaffrey, with truly bad offensive lines and not a lot of help offensively for either of them at a lot of their points in their early careers with the Panthers for CMC and Saquon with the Giants. It was a lot of them doing a lot. Straight put it frankly,
straight up.
So it's good to have the eye test in mind, and it's good to have the presence of mind to be able to tell the difference between a good situation, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, but even then,
actual good football players.
Straight up, yeah. A good football player a lot of times is going to win out even in bad situations, even if it takes time.
I know one you don't like to revisit often because I don't even think you had him like that, but you just don't like him because you think he steals money. But a player I think that would fit this category for you that was in a really good situation, that had a really good year or two, got a bag, and then he just sucked. Kenny Golladay.
I liked Kenny Golladay in his prime. But
but at some point I think you just got sick of him.
Because he just literally never produced once he got the bag.
Yeah.
It was like,
which is again, was that a situation? Didn't he have Stafford as his quarterback?
Yeah, when he was succeeding, and then he just
went to the Giants.
Yeah, and then I get that for sure, but that's it. That's my issue. Is for sure. Do what's best for you and your family. Get that bag. Do your thing.
Yeah, we're not mad
at that. But my God, you can still get a bag and not ruin your entire career. That's my thing. And you see it, I hate to say it, Tyreek Hill, I traded his ass as soon as he went to the Dolphins in our dynasty league because in my head, there's no way he's reaching the same peak. Granted, he did for a year or two, but
it's worth the picks you got and what you turn them into. Just off the fact that you're going to have a better chance with more draft picks. That's the thing too that we'll touch on here in this episode. A little bit of draft pick trade, dynasty cheese, we'll call it.
Definitely.
But you want to, when you're trying to trade someone like a Tyreek, when they're essentially at the peak of their career, 26, 27 years old, still have juice, but not a ton of years left. You maybe have 4 maximum.
Yeah.
And you could get a couple more, but
real top 15, top 20 viability.
Yeah, and that's more 3. That's more like 3 guaranteed, and then
3 guaranteed at top 15. Probably.
Yep, because that's 27, 28, 29-year-old season, and even 30. A lot of guys are still good.
That's usually about the drop off, though.
Yep, you hit 30 unless you're. I mean, some guys are elite talents, and we have to recognize that.
Sure. Oh yeah, Larry Fitzgerald lasted forever and a day, but
yep,
that not everybody is like that. But
no,
we definitely know our stuff, man. We've been on our research for a long, long time. I mean, like I was saying, last year I saw Bucky Irving. And just watching his tape with my eye test and just how I feel about the game, I saw something there. It did not matter to me that they had another running back with Rachaad White. It was like, okay, they literally have already seen that Rachaad White is inefficient. The dude was getting like less than 4 carry. Granted, he was catching balls all the time. So in fantasy, we're like, this dude is great. But really, he was very inefficient. And then you get a dude like Bucky Irving, who's just electric, just from the eye test, from watching his tape. The dude is just so good. And somehow in my dynasty, he slipped to the 3rd round. I grabbed him and I traded him this year, which now I'm kind of like, damn, I feel bad because Bucky is a dude.
But that is another thing too, though.
It's part of the game.
Don't be afraid to trade a running back that doesn't necessarily have high draft capital. That they may have a year or 2, maybe even 4.
Yeah, he could end up having a great career, but part of the reason I traded him was because he fits more of an archetype of a player that burns so bright in like a span of 2 or 3 years, and then they literally fall off a cliff. I mean, granted, Todd Gurley had way higher of draft capital
and an extreme peak. That was an extreme peak because it was a long period of time for it to be a top 3 running back.
Yeah, comparatively, but it's the type of thing I'm talking about, though, where Todd Gurley's like what, barely 30 years old now?
He's younger than Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and he's been out of the league for multiple years. So
yeah,
it's just some dudes can't live for this long in the NFL world being a running back, and that's the sad reality of the position. Not all of them can be a Saquon. Yeah, not all of them can be Adrian Peterson.
It's tough on the body to be a running back. That's well documented throughout,
especially in
history.
Granted, I know Bucky is very similar size to Jahmyr Gibbs, which was part of my argument last season, because that seems to almost be the archetype of great running backs coming in right now. It's that type of build. I think even Genty is only like an inch or 2 taller than them, if that.
Then who?
Than both Bucky and
Genty's like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, which is the same size as
Bucky and
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
That to me, that's like the size of the archetype running back that's succeeding right now coming into the NFL is the 5'8", 5'9" guys that are about 200 plus pounds.
They're almost like the slightly bigger McCaffrey builds.
Yeah, and
in terms of just weight, and that's not even a slight of McCaffrey. We know that he can rumble and bumble, but we also know that he's really known for his receiving work. He's good between the tackles, but he's more explosive when it comes to being a pass catcher. And, you'd rather have a guy like Saquon between the tackles, Derrick Henry between the tackles. Not that CMC is bad. He gets that job done.
No, yeah,
that's kudos to him for doing it at that size. He's not the biggest guy, but just like Bucky, just like Jahmyr, they get it done. And Genty's got a little more girth to him, I think. But they're all good running backs. It's a good archetype. I think even Kyren Williams kind of fit that similar mold in terms of just a little bit smaller back, but still producing. On different level, on all.
Yeah, I mean, I think A-Chain is that same kind of build.
Agreed.
Too.
Yeah, the
A-Chain is a little lighter, I think, if I'm not mistaken, like a bit lighter.
The running back too has kind of moved in that direction, like you're talking about. Like I'm looking at the running back list on ESPN, and the outliers to me are Saquon, Bijan, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor.
Travion Henderson's bigger, right? Or he's not huge. He's maybe 6 feet.
He's kind of, maybe, but he's kind of that 5'10" archetype.
Yeah. Okay.
Breece Hall's bigger. Omarion Hampton's got really good size. But if you're looking at the other running backs that I didn't mention, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Devon A-Chain, Ashton Genty, Bucky Irving, James Cook, Kyren Williams, Chase Brown, Alvin Kamara, Like
you literally almost all the time, and those are all. A lot of them are pass catchers too. That's
exactly.
the thing.
That's what I'm alluding
That's why
to.
they're so good in
Exactly.
PPR.
Yeah, I mean, you still have guys like Kenneth Walker, again, Taylor, like I said, Omarion Hampton, Brees Hall, James Conner is still a big build in my opinion. He's got good size. David Montgomery, same thing. DeAndre Swift, kind of the more pass catching type of archetype. Joe Mixon kind of does everything, so he's an outlier in a sense.
Yeah, I have a question for you. I know there was some interesting controversy with this guy in recent offseason news, but what size is Quinshon Judkins? Because that'll maybe
Judkins is a good size. I'm pretty sure he's still at like the 5'11".
I would say I think he's borderline 6, right?
I'm pretty sure he's like 5'10".
I remember being a little taller, but you're probably right. He's probably still that same size.
I'll tell you right now.
Because I'll tell you this. It'll lead perfectly into who I think could be another potential Bucky this year.
Okay, he is actually 6 feet.
Yeah, I thought
218. I knew he was a little bigger than. I just didn't know his height. I knew his size was good, but
yeah.
he's a big. He fits that kind of like Saquon build. He's not quite as big. Saquon's like 230 or something like that.
Yeah,
but or 225 to 235, whatever he is, but it's right up there with he'll hit 220, maybe 225 if he wants to, if that's the goal for him and for the team to get a little even 7-8 pounds, 10 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
Then that's what's going to happen. But we'll see. We have yet to see. But either way, Judkins, if he's playing, so that's nothing to hate about the football player.
He definitely could be playing this season, which is why his draft stock is already bumped up.
Yep.
And also why I've kind of shifted to where I think that Bill is probably the Bucky this year. Plus, Bill is so a Bucky name. Bill, he's truly the Bucky. But if there is another guy that I think could be this year's Bucky, I have it right here on this paper. In all caps.
I will say too, though. I mean, granted, we did mention the eligibility issue and the weirdness of it.
Yeah,
but it's almost if he hits like Bucky, that would almost be a disservice to Croskey Merritt saying that he's the next Buck. He's this.
Oh yeah,
Bucky
of course,
because of the fact he's a 7th rounder.
I would say every player is different for sure. Too.
I will.
So
yeah, I will.
He's his own Bill. Yeah, that's really what it is.
Yeah, and I will.
The Bill is due. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, believe me when I say a Commanders running back will be good. I've hit on 3 of them.
Yeah,
and they didn't necessarily, have the number 1 running back seasons. But all seasons, you would sit there and go, I will take that as my RB2, my RB3, whatever. Even in, Antonio Gibson, I think maybe even had a low-end RB1 season, didn't he?
I'm pretty sure something like that.
Yeah, so I get with Gibson, with Brian Robinson, and now Jacory Croskey Merritt. You could even look at the Commanders dating back all the way to Alfred Morris.
You've been.
I didn't have any hand in Alfred Morris necessarily back then.
No.
But it just shows the Commanders are not afraid to move on to a running back like that.
Yeah, I mean, even when they grabbed Adrian Peterson at like 40 years old, the dude was a baller.
yeah, and they had a run heavy offense last year. Just a side note.
So to get into who I think could be this year's Bucky, if it's not Bill, although it could be both of them, and who knows. With Quinshon Judkins coming back, this might be a little less likely, but he does fit that 3rd, 4th round build. He's 5'8", 200 pounds, had a 4.4 240. This guy is Dylan Sampson. He's a freaking baller. I've been talking about him a lot if you've already kind of focused a little bit on the channel, but his junior year in 13 games, he had 258 attempts for 1,491 rushing yards for 5.8 a clip. That's fantastic. 5.8 a carry is insane. 22 rushing touchdowns, which led the SEC, and he was tied for 5th in FBS. So that's, a top 5 rushing touchdown leader. And not to mention 22 rushing touchdowns at 20 is elite. Under 20 years or 21 years old, that's damn near unheard of. He also had 20 receptions for 143 receiving yards, which isn't a ton. But the year before, he had 17 receptions for 175. So he kind of shows that he can do it. He's got at least enough history to prove that he has. I know for a fact that their coaching staff has already said he could be running the slot or potentially doing more of receiving work and being kind of the receiving back at this throughout this season, which is interesting. He didn't do like a ton of receiving work in college, but he clearly showed he was capable. His total points and he led SEC in rushing yards per game and total points and had 11 consecutive games with the rushing touchdown as well, which that's just fantastic. Like granted, I thought if Quinshon Judkins was going to miss time, this dude was clearly going to be the Bucky this year. And now we see Bill showing up. But this guy, I feel like he's started to get some, raise in draft capital and things for redraft. And I do think that this year Dylan Sampson could be a sleeper. I know the Browns aren't going to be great. He was kind of part of the reason he didn't really blow up earlier in college was the fact that he had Jalen Wright, who is a potential breakout candidate this year as well as the A-chain backup kind of over at the Dolphins. But Dylan, as soon as he was gone, though, Dylan Sampson became the dude. And even then, when he was behind Jalen Wright, he was kind of a change of pace back, which I feel like he can succeed at the NFL level with how good he was by himself and with Judkins. Like that's just a great 1-2 combo. I think even the Browns thought that drafting them. They're like, wow, Dylan Sampson fell to us this late in the draft, and we can pair him with Judkins that we got earlier. This is going to be ridiculous.
I feel like that was their thinking too with Shedeur. Like, might as well if he's there. They're both there. Okay, take them.
That's my thing too. I watched Shedeur's first game, and dude showed enough to me that he definitely should not have been as late in the NFL draft as he was. I think teams just didn't want to pay that Sanders price tag and, have to deal with kind of what comes with having that name and that dude kind of on your team. But I think, again, to your point, he went later than he should have, in my opinion. And I think that they could actually be decent this year, even though they're not going to be at all favored. I think their defense is good enough to keep them in games.
They'll probably be last in the division still, but they'll have competitive games
for sure. But Joe Flacco was just named the starter too the other day, so we'll see how it goes throughout the season. But he does seem to be the clear best quarterback and best for all the guys in the offense, fantasy wise too. So
yeah, he's still got it.
Yeah, I think there could be some sneaky fantasy players this season, especially Judkins and Sampson could be, not necessarily on people's radar and redraft this league, and they could have games and weeks where they just produce. So,
yeah. One last note too on Sampson. I don't know if you've seen this article by Billy Heehan on Yahoo Sports. Is the art, but the article is on the Sporting News, or the story by the Sporting News. Real quickly, it says the Browns may not know QB starter. May not know the QB starter, but number one running back job is becoming clear. This originally appeared on the Sporting News. It says it may be a couple weeks until the Cleveland Browns make anything official about their starting quarterback job, but at running back, actions are speaking louder than words. The Browns are holding joint practices this week with the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Cleveland, this is also on the 14th, so
I'll say this is new. This is why I haven't seen it.
Yeah, keep in mind. This
is
about 4 or 5 days ago.
I wrote my whole article on Dylan Sampson back on July 12th. I've been on this dude a while.
Yeah, it says the Browns are holding joint, like I said, practices with the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Cleveland head coach Kevin Stefanski approaches joint practices as the most important part of the week, more than the preseason game on the weekend. So decisions he makes in joint practices can be very informative. In this case, the first running back on the field both days versus the Eagles was Dylan Sampson. The rookie out of Tennessee looks primed to hold down the RB1 duties for the Browns if nothing changes. Ohio State rookie Quinshon Judkins may have been the favorite, but he hasn't even signed a deal yet with legal troubles.
Yeah.
The Browns, he was not necessarily charged, but that doesn't mean it's all going away. We'll see what happens.
I still think there's a possibility the NFL suspends him because he didn't even sign a contract yet. Granted, it got swept under the rug, sort of. So who knows if they even do anything it's kind of up in the air still. It's a little.
Yeah, and it mentions too that the Browns brought back Jerome Ford. That's also to note. It's not just Judkins and Dylan Sampson. It is Jerome Ford in there too. But it does say they got him to take a pay cut, so it suggests that he's not going to necessarily be the lead back.
Yeah, Stefanski has also said from his own mouth that the 1 and 2 will be Judkins and Sampson. I've already seen articles about that, and he basically said that Ford is going to be the third, or in a sense, change of pace in his own way.
Yeah, it's looking good for Sampson. Judkins, we'll see what happens, but I would have confidence that both of them can produce decent fantasy seasons, and probably, I mean, dynasty looks, they're definitely great options in my opinion, especially with the legal trouble being not as maybe the charges being dropped. That is, if you're a Quinshot Judkins owner, that is a good sign for you. That is a good sign for you. So legally speaking, again, we'll see what ends up happening, if anything else, not in terms of a different case hopefully, but just in this case. But we'll see. We'll see who ends up taking that lead back role. I think that's one of the more interesting
running backs.
Battles.
For sure.
To see who. I mean, and that's the thing too. They both could be so good. They might both get like 15 to 17 touches a game.
Totally possible.
But extremely, because of the way the Browns could run they did that for years with Chubb and
Straight
Hunt.
Up. We have footage of us talking about kind of going over the first 10, 11, 12, maybe rookies. It's stored in an archive, so maybe we'll release it at some point. But I remember talking about just watching Judkins tape at the time, and I'm like, this dude is pretty freaking good. And then I watched Sampson, and literally my thought in my head was, this dude would be such a good first or second down kind of guy, where he just can plow through, and then they put in
he's got good speed and power,
straight up. And then I was like, and then you add a dude that's more like Jahmyr Gibbs or something like that can be like a change of pace and still be able to.
Sampson
I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he is. Don't listen to that. If anything, I thought Bucky was a mini Gibbs last year. I don't think Dylan Sampson is a mini Gibbs.
No, I feel like Sampson has a good shot to be, something decent, not only for dynasty, but for a redraft league potentially as well.
I think they're great compliments to each other, though, is what I was trying to get to. And just literally, that's how when I watched Judkins tape, I'm like, oh, he would use a great running back that could complement him like this. And then when I watched Dylan Sampson, I thought the same thing. And then I remember telling you, something along those lines, and you're like, they're both on the Browns. And I'm like, that's beautiful.
For in terms of an NFL offense, that you kind of want that 1-2 punch like that.
It's kind of like nowadays. Granted, I don't think either of them is Gibbs level, but it is kind of like that similar thing, having that Montgomery and Gibbs. It's kind of like that, where the Browns are trying to go with the two of them, in my opinion, which hats off to them. I think they picked two great running backs to try and do that type of thing.
Yeah, and in the next couple of days too, we'll have an episode for you. We'll have kind of a fun thing we'll do soon, where we're gonna have some rankings of running back duos currently. Probably like a top 7 to top 10, roughly in that range, and kind of just go from top to bottom. What teams have the best pairing of running backs for fantasy, for NFL. We'll factor in all different things and situations so that you guys can have a good idea of running backs that you maybe can look out for, that you maybe trust already, but you need some reassurance. Because trust me, there's plenty of running back rooms where they're going to be two running, unless you have Saquon, Bijan, and Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. Unless you have any of those guys, or Ashton Genty, I started naming a few guys, but that's really just a small handful. Yeah, unless you have those guys, because again, Bijan, even though, has Algier behind him, and he's a great backup.
He is,
but it's almost like worrisome. It's not worrisome in a way, because that Bijan will usually be fresh.
He's still going to get his work and still going to get his points.
But he's not going to get the Saquon touches.
I would say it caps his Saquon type of upside.
Or the prime McCaffrey touches.
For sure, which like they could potentially use him more, but it seems to be still that they're going to use them about the same, which, I mean, if you're trying to extend his career, you kind of still want that, especially as a dynasty owner. I'm a Bijan dynasty owner, and like for redraft, you'd rather him be more of a Bijan where he's just literally gonna win you a league every year, and he could do that. But
put you in a position to.
Yeah, but also he's got with Algier behind him, it makes it to where there's still some weeks he's probably going to have closer to like 17 to 20 instead of like 25 to 30 type of thing.
Yeah, and if you're looking at like I said, we're going to look at running backs as a duo, top 5 to 7 to 10 duos. One of the more interesting ones I think this year that's last year you saw it. Definitely, but I think it was a lot because of an injury. Mm-hmm. This year, I think you will see it more because this guy's hitting his peak, or not his peak, but his true prime.
Yeah.
In this season, and the other guys not necessarily out the door because he's still got juice left, in my opinion. But Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, that's one that we'll get into soon at some point down the road, because that is going to be a true change in the guard this year. Again, if it wasn't already last year. But that was kind of, again, because of an injury. It was due. It always was due.
Yeah, no.
But now this will be the true year, in my opinion, where you see the blow up. And again, he finished running back 1 because Saquon did not play the last game.
So, yeah, it was by technicality.
Yes, but let's say everyone's healthy, plays, metaphorically, and they all played the same amount of games. Gibbs could easily be the RB1 again because of the fact that, again, Monty is good, but I do think they'll give Gibbs a little bit more touches this season. I was going through his
game logs,
and he had 28 touches week 1, 22 touches, 27 touches, then down to 13 touches, 21 touches, 11 touches, but those, I feel like those, for example, the 11 touch game, the 13 touch game, he's got another one where it was 12 that was back-to-back weeks as well.
Yeah, touches being rushes and receptions.
Correct.
Yeah. Just to make sure everybody is following along.
Yeah, and the other thing too is to note that he was having good games with these small amounts of touches.
Oh yeah, he's still super productive.
Yes, the game with only 13 touches, 5 of those were receptions for 83 in a tub.
Yeah, that's the thing about Gibbs is the dude is so talented and hyper efficient and productive to where he doesn't need more than 13 to 15 touches in a game for him to give you production that's going to be running back 1 or running back 2 level at the least. It's like we did a draft the other night that we haven't released yet with some of our league mates. I was trying to say in that one, like, the dude just literally, there's not a week last year you would have started him and been unhappy. Like it was.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just he literally was just every week productive. Bijan is almost the same thing, but like Gibbs can do that on half the touches of Bijan, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's only a few true like workhorse backs, and he's definitely capable of being one.
Yeah,
but like I'm looking at a game log specifically right now, and
at the end of the year, Montgomery was out, so there was a couple games you truly saw what he was capable of as a running back.
But I'm looking at the game log of one Jonathan Taylor.
Oh yeah,
the way he finished this last year,
he was
winning people championships.
Imagine how many points he would have had if he didn't fumble.
Yeah, exactly. And this is crazy too, because he finished the season last year with just under 300 fantasy points. I feel like he's very underrated this year. He missed 3 games and he just under 300 points. Are you kidding me? You missed 3 games? Like you look at it, if you look at his game log, 26 points in week 18, 28.67 in week 17, 41.8 in week 16. Those are all the weeks you want him to go off. The bye week was late in week 14, but he truly only had 2 bad weeks the whole entire year.
Yeah.
And one of them, it wasn't because of lack of touches. It was probably just because Richardson or whoever the quarterback was turning the ball over, because he had 24 touches. The Jets defense did bottle him up. I will admit, And Detroit the week before, they were just a bad position, only 11 carries. But
Detroit was even with guys hurt, they were not a bad rushing defense last year.
Exactly. But the rest of the games in his game log, you'd be more than happy with. And again, I feel like he's getting a little disrespected. In my opinion, ESPN, I think him and Puka should switch spots. That's just, maybe I'm biased a little bit, but you could quite literally look at all and Puka, where are you?
That's a great question.
Wow, why can't I find him? Is he hurt?
No.
Puka projected to have 316 fantasy points this year.
Yeah.
Which I think is a little high in my opinion, but he's still going to have a good year. Jonathan Taylor.
You want to put it on the screen? Drag it over if you want. It's up to you.
As you see, Jonathan Taylor projected 295 fantasy points.
There it is.
With an average of 17.4 per game. I just truly think that that's not going to be the case. I think that he's going to be well over. Is Daniel Jones being the quarterback as well? They're not going to run as much. He's still. That's not to say. Excuse me. That's not to say he can't run. We all know Daniel Jones runs, and they're still going to have that piece of the offense. It will of course be integrated like that.
Yeah.
But I think Steichen has to realize this season, and I think he does realize, you got to keep them healthy, and you can't do that by running them all the time. You have to run Jonathan Taylor behind that physical offensive line. They just paid their left tackle, if I'm not mistaken.
They just said that Daniel Jones is the starter too.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Daniel Jones being the starter is definitely, again, that's huge in my opinion for Jonathan Taylor.
Does that is better for him?
Yeah, and
him in particular.
It doesn't even mean that. Oh, is he going to have a great? Is Daniel Jones going to be amazing? No, I'm not endorsing Daniel Jones. I hope he does well. I truly do. I root for the guy just because of the fact he's gone through a lot of hard times in the Giants.
I got booed as soon as he got drafted.
Yeah. How do you expect a guy to succeed when you're doing that?
Yeah.
You're booing him from the second he walks in the door. So before he puts on the hat, Yeah. So, however you feel about Daniel Jones, you kind of have to sit there and admire that he's still going, still trying to get.
Yeah, it's one of those Goff kind of things too, in my
opinion. And Goff was a higher pick, of course, and a little more. Refined.
I was at that first game that Goff started. They booed him real bad when he threw a pick on his first drive.
He was not good. In that first game. But if you're looking at the broad picture, again, Anthony Richardson may end up starting some games for them this year, but
for sure.
But if they want to keep him healthy, if they want to keep Daniel Jones healthy, two guys that not only have injury problems but concussion problems, you're really going to want to feed the ball to Jonathan Taylor or get the ball to your tight end Warren, Downs. They have a lot of guys that can do different things in the receiver game.
Yeah,
but the main piece of the offense has to continue to be Jonathan Taylor. Because you're not going to be able to pass properly if he's not running the way he's supposed to.
Taylor and Warren, honestly, I feel like Warren is such a talented player that you could literally run the offense through the two of them and you'd probably succeed. I'm not gonna lie. I think
you have a good shot.
Yeah, and personally, I just with how the last 2 years have gone with tight ends, literally rookie tight ends who have historically usually never been viable in fantasy. All of a sudden, 2 years ago, Laporta was the tight end one.
Yep.
Last year, Bowers, tight end one.
Yep.
Granted, Bowers is probably going to be tight end one again because that dude is the GOAT.
Yeah. He's very good.
He's so good. But this year, you have two guys that were drafted in the top 12, 14 picks.
Loveland and Warren.
And high key, whenever I'm in a redraft and I'm doing a draft or a mock, I'm like, if I didn't give Bowers in the beginning of the draft, you could definitely make a huge case that what's the Arizona guy? I can't freaking remember. McBride. Yeah, how can I forget that name? Trey McBride. You can make a case that he could easily be the tight end one this year, or just
he's got a great shot.
Be worth the early pick, and I think even then, Kittle could be a steal with where he's going too. But if you don't get one of those three dudes, or maybe even Kelsey later on, Loveland and Warren to me, every time I'm at the end of the draft, I'm like, this feels like a steal at tight end. You could take an Evan Ingram or whoever before that. Hawkinson will probably be good too, especially with Addison out at the beginning of the year. But it just, I feel so good taking them at the end of drafts.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those why not, and you're going to need to get a tight end at some point anyways to spell your guy on the bye, or if your guy gets hurt. And the other thing too is if you are waiting in a redraft for tight end, if you're not getting a Bowers, a McBride, a Kittle, if you're not getting those top tier guys and you're focused on other things in your draft and you're willing to take a shot on the later tight ends, might as well grab two, grab Loveland, grab Warren, grab Kyle Pitts, grab Kyle Pitts, any deep shot. You never know. Tight ends are it's a volatile position because of the fact that you don't always have talent there consistently, and when you do, their situation sometimes has to be right. No matter we see Kyle Pitts with Arthur Smith for years just be dead. Other than when he had Matt Ryan. Shane Steichen is a pretty decent offensive mind, so I would think that Warren has a good shot to do something. And Ben Johnson, just coming from Laporta, having great seasons in Detroit his first 2 seasons. Now he's going to have Loveland.
He had his choice at tight end, and he picked Loveland with the 10th pick in the NFL draft. So that I was all in on him in Dynasty. I'm very glad I got him. Just to get the last bit of news, I think off of the top of my head, this one is really sucky in my opinion. Just definitely not a good situation in general. Definitely not Judkins level type of thing. McMillan, the receiver for the Buccaneers, Jalen McMillan, got hit really brutally and just such an illegal hit in the preseason game.
I think it was just quite unnecessary to do something like that in a preseason game when a guy's going up in the air and you're just going to take out his legs from underneath. Not even a care in the world either. It was just running straight through. Like you could have gone maybe a little higher and made sure that he didn't die on his neck. Like you could have seen the guy's career end right there. Because of the way you tackled somebody, because you're reckless and you don't know how to tackle.
Straight up. And like you said, the way he got hit and the way he landed, it was right on his neck, and just such a scary incident. He walked off under his own power, which is like, thank God everything seemed okay. And now we got news today that he's wearing a neck brace and he might be out for half the season.
Yeah, screw the Steelers, man, for doing that. I don't like that at all. I'm not a fan of I'm a fan of big hits. I'm a fan of clean hits. I'm a fan of, you blow someone up, you blow someone up.
Playing the game.
But that hit right there, there was no good things that could have come out of that. And that's either his lack of knowledge of doing his job properly. You're in the moment. I get it. I was an athlete as well. I understand being in the moment.
I get it's preseason too, so you're getting some rust off. But
that right there, unnecessary tackle. If you look, he's just running almost with his head down, just like not even looking. Like, what are you doing, dude? That's the stupidest tackle I ever seen in my life.
School. I love it, Scotty. Much love. That's awesome. But yeah, for real, it just very, very bad situation. Like I said, it was super scary watching that highlight, and thank God he's okay, but definitely scary that he's even potentially being talked about for missing up to half the season.
It's always concerning when you deal with something neck and above. Here and above, not good.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen other players and even Prince Fielder, I'm pretty sure, from some sort of neck injury that he had.
Yeah, he retired because of that.
Yeah, retired from baseball.
Yep.
So it just baseball is a way less contact sport in that sense. So, but yeah, just really, really terrible news for McMillan, and just terrible scene on the field too. In terms of fantasy, it feels weird even going to this now, but Ibuka seems like an absolute smash.
Yep.
Like there's, oh my God, I feel terrible that I was already propping up his draft price.
Well, we already kind of knew
earlier.
that he's the better receiver than
Sure.
McMillan.
Yeah.
But now that McMillan's going to be sidelined, there's just no way that Ibuka doesn't run away with eventually what will be the one spot.
I was going to say, he could literally be the number one receiver by like year 5.
It's possible. I mean, Mike Evans, we'll see what he's got left in the tank. I still think he's got it. I will say, interestingly enough, Vegas put his line, I think, at like 950.
Ooh, right under 1,000.
Very strange. Very strange.
Okay, question. If he doesn't get 1,000 this year, do you think he calls it? Or do you think he's got a little bit more? It
depends, because he could miss like 5 games and that could cause him to not get 1,000.
Yeah, sure.
And maybe because of the injury and whatever, yeah, sure, he may call it. But at the same time, like he's on a competitive team. Like the Bucks were in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, and they've been competitive.
Oh yeah, no, they're great.
So
I love Baker. So
yeah, and Baker's going to kind of give you a chance in a lot of games the way he's been playing the last 2 seasons. Kind of reviving his career. And I've enjoyed watching that. I've enjoyed watching him step up to the plate with this group of guys, because filling the shoes for Tom Brady, sure, it's not filling the shoes in New England, but it's Tom still won a Super Bowl in Tampa, and you're now looking at it like, damn, Baker's got to replace that. That's crazy. But he's got him in good positions. And I mean, if you're a betting person, you're deciding between 3 teams in that division, I guess, that could win it. Probably Bucks would be favored because of the experience, and then most likely Atlanta and Carolina fighting for that next spot, but not the Saints.
No. Tyler Shuck does not look that good.
He's had a couple good throws. I can't admit that. I've seen a couple good throws.
I don't think he's but
I haven't seen a full body of work. So
I don't think he's god awful or anything, but just from watching the first game of Shadur, can't imagine why any team would take Tyler Shuck over Shadur. Personally,
they want Arch Manning in 27.
Fair.
They're willing to wait. They had his grandpappy.
Oh man, don't do that.
I'm just telling you what they want.
Great for me. I'm a Panther fan, so if the Saints want to suck for a couple of years, that's cool with me.
But not if they do.
We kind of went over all the news, other than I guess the Raiders game was the other day. There was some other preseason games as well. Real quick, Genty looked pretty good against the Niners. I was there on the sidelines doing my thing. It was a cool game to see. And yeah, Genty is him, man. All you need to see was a few plays that he put on a show. The guys were getting absolutely bodied. He was doing the absolute unnecessary stuff where some dude like literally full speed tried to hit him as hard as he could. And Genty just ate it. He's like, nothing, kept going, trying to get an extra couple yards. It was like, oh my God, you're putting your body at risk, dude. It was great. It was great to see. But that kind of covers the majority of preseason 2 for the most part. I mean, most of the games were actually not too bad from the ones that I saw. Definitely got to see a peek at a few, rookies like Tosh Brooks too on the Bengals. So definitely it's been cool to see some of the dudes getting a shot. I mean, even Caleb Williams looked fantastic in his first drive. They were incredible, to be honest. It was like, wow, 97 yards on a 95-yard drive. And it looked like the Ben Johnson system was working just the way it did in Detroit almost,
and they need to build on that. They definitely need to build on that. Try to get that's
what they
going.
needed.
Yeah, momentum. And there was a lot of news videos negative content out there about what's going on in the off season for the Bears in terms, or training camp and whatnot, because of Caleb Williams.
Yeah, he looked bad in a lot of stuff.
Just frustrated and just not looking great. But at the end of the day,
that's what preseason is for, and
it's all to get those things out of the way. Try to get yourself better and prepared for the season.
Yeah, let me be the one to tell you that don't buy into any of this preseason crap. Like, guys are granted, some certain stuff that's good news is usually stuff to buy into. When it's bad news, that's also stuff to look out. But people are always trying to puff up their players for reporters, so usually good news on dudes that are already good, like it's just kind of fluff. But bad stuff is definitely to be watched. And then when there's unknown kind of guys that are getting hyped, that's definitely something to watch too. And
always pay attention to roster shuffling, roster movement. Have some deep sleepers. If you don't, you'll sit there when they hit, or when a guy hits that is a deep sleeper, and sit and ask yourself, why didn't I try to pay attention to that? How could I have missed that? But again, some people are going to be quick to it. Other people, I know people have busy lives. Trust me, I work 2 jobs plus trying to do all this. We get busy, but at the same time, hey, take a literally 45-second trip to the app. Go claim, waiver, add someone that you are confident in, or that you feel like you could take a deep shot at, because you never know who might hit. You never know who might become what. I don't care about draft capital when they're actually in the season and on the field. I only care about draft capital when the draft happens and when training camp is going on because of certain situations. But when the season hits, draft capital becomes somewhat out the window, because if you play well, you'll earn a bag.
It's all about that eye test, like I said, because the dudes that actually ball out are the ones that get the playing time.
Yep.
So that's really what it is.
100%.
Otherwise, though, I believe we have a mock that we can do. We definitely have rankings that the two of us have been working on behind the scenes for quite a while. And I think definitely now that a lot of things have kind of shifted around, whether it's the Judkins case or, just all sorts of stuff has been kind of shifting around with guys that have come out like Bill. So we definitely are going to be adjusting some of our rankings before we give a full rundown to you guys. We definitely will probably be releasing those rookie rankings as well, or maybe even going over kind of updated rankings. Otherwise, though, I think we should get into this mock if you would like to find one with me.
Can't do it on the computer for some reason.
It will be choosing you.
That says something went wrong and it's just now loading. So
interesting tactics. That's never what you want to see.
No, what timing, huh?
Indeed. I was kind of worried if it would be kind of weird getting onto the draft here, but I'm super interested what the two of us think in terms of kind of the newest updates with BUCKY now having more of a role. Judkins potentially being.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. I'm looking.
What spot are you? 2?
I am the 2 if we're doing our normal draft spots.
2 is there.
All right. Well, I need to find it. I'm looking.
Beginner 10 team. Oh, just kidding.
Ooh, try a mock. I would like to, but can I? Will you allow me to? This is great content. I love it. PPR Pro. Oh, everybody's gone.
Beginner, oh, there goes mine. It's tough to find these sometimes.
It's quite. Oh, I saw an expert and then it loaded. Pro PPR at 620. I can talk a little bit longer. Let us see if we can't choose this up. There's an expert. Oh, no, it's gone. I could do a random. I don't have to be in my draft spot.
Yeah, we could give him a different look.
Yeah.
There's an expert.
I found one. Pro.
I'm at the 6 in the expert.
Is it right now or?
It says 13 minutes.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. We will do what we need to do. 620 then?
Yeah.
Expert? I think no.
There's only 2 teams in there so far.
I saw a different one. No. There it is. Lord.
Are you joining the second spot?
Yes, I tried to. Let me see if I can't get it up on here so you guys can follow along with us. Where is it?
And keep in mind, obviously, some of these people are going to just let it auto in this mock. We don't know anyone else, so
Unfortunately,
they might have. There's usually 1 or 2, maybe 3 guys that stick around for a while until the last couple of rounds when you're picking like your last 2-3 picks or whatever. But we'll see what happens in this one. And we got about 12 minutes until then, so if you want, I mean, we have some rankings. I know for me, wide receiver rankings probably would be the ones that change less than my running back rankings. Because we did these a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'd be bumping up Ibuka a lot for sure, personally. But otherwise,
yeah, I have him lower than what I would actually have
him now.
Yeah,
I feel that 100%. What day can I? How do I get in the draft?
I don't know.
Interesting tactics. It's been a minute.
Because it's not open yet.
Oh, that would be why.
Yeah.
Well then, let us go over some more rankings potentially. Yes.
What position?
I'm down to do quarterback.
That's right. That's the first one I did.
Yeah, we can go over our top 10.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
This is strictly, remember, this is fantasy based, not necessarily. And that doesn't mean that we would have it in different orders or that we would. This is just mainly how we think these quarterbacks fare this coming season.
Yeah, where we would also take them in draft order as well. More than likely. I mean, sometimes you gotta go.
Sometimes you believe in people and you reach.
Yeah, or you have a strategy where you're gonna do a stack type of thing. Yep. For sure, there's different reasons you would maybe not go according to the rankings, or have different reasons to not take quarterbacks early. But in the general consensus, this is where we have our quarterbacks ranked. If you want to go with your number 10 first.
My number 10, I kind of have a note here. It's a weird spot for me because there's 3 guys I feel like that could easily be in this spot. There's a few more. I'll give the honorable mentions first. Honorable mentions for who could be in that 10 spot.
Fair enough.
Trevor Lawrence, if he finally breaks out. Jordan Love with all the weapons potentially. They have to get healthy too, but still, he could be the 10th. CJ Stroud has still an opportunity to be that 10 spot. Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, and Dak Prescott all have opportunities, in my opinion, to be in that top 10 range. Top 12, we'll say, because a lot of people do 12 men. And they'll rank it based on a 12-man system.
True. So we could even start at 12, but
yeah, and that's fine because I literally went up to 13 with my honorable mentions.
Yeah, it's good.
But again, these are guys that I believe in that have pretty good floors. They're not going to peak for you like the top 12 will necessarily. You might find a Goff 5 touchdown, 4 or 5 touchdowns.
I have Goff in mine, and Fields and Murray and Stroud.
In real life, in a real life quarterback situation, I think Goff is in my top 10 quarterbacks. Yeah, but in a fantasy perspective, because of the lack of mobility and because there is a lot of running game involved in that offense, that can limit him.
Yeah, I will say,
and he has a few games.
I probably have Goff a tad higher than you. He's like right on the borderline of my 12.
He's my 15. I only have.
I think the last 2 seasons with, granted, this was with Ben Johnson and the offense working.
Exactly.
He was a top 10 quarterback both of those years.
But you also have to take into account that there's quarterbacks that have changed situations. Also, rookie quarterbacks that have now, but I don't have them higher than him.
Yeah.
But then there's also now going to be healthier quarterbacks. There was quarterbacks last year that weren't healthy, or like Justin Fields all of a sudden didn't play because Steelers wanted the better draft pick.
Caleb is also in my honorable mentions because I think that with that Ben Johnson offense now, he could end up having a better second season.
Yeah, to me, he's in that because of his low pick rate, which is good, low pick percentage. Last year, I actually have him right ahead of those guys.
Yeah,
because I do feel with Ben Johnson, he will improve. They will improve. I'm not like a Caleb truther. I think he's decent. I don't think he's necessarily what everyone says he is in terms of the next Mahomes. I don't think that. He's not, in my opinion, he won't even ever get better than Joe Burrow or Josh Allen or Lamar. But he has the chance to be a top 10 quarterback in the league because of his talent. He has to refine his skills a little more. I do have him outside the top 10 now.
Yeah,
Caleb.
I would say if I re-rank things, I probably would rate him a little bit higher than where I have him here. And
because of the low turnover percentage, pick wise, I have him at 11 ahead of who I have at 12, which is Justin Fields.
Yeah, I have Fields at 12 as well.
Yep.
So both of us are kind of there, right at the edge of a quarterback one.
And that's kind of, some people may be like, oh, how do you have Fields out of these other guys?
He's looked bad in preseason. I get it.
He's a good running quarterback, which is elite in fantasy.
We've seen the dude score 50 before.
He's gone off, and he has the capability to do so. The Jets have Breece Hall, Braylon Allen,
great running
Garrett
back for
Wilson,
him to help him.
And now Mason Taylor at tight end, which will also help. So Justin Fields will have a lot of good going for him because of the fact that there's no real competition there at quarterback. They brought him in for a reason. I do think he's capable. And again, he may not give you a crazy week every week.
No.
But that's why I have him at 12.
Yeah, he's not
low end QB1.
It's a guy you're taking a risk on, but if let's put it this way, if Fields somehow figures it out with Garrett Wilson, his college teammate, the dude is going to be a baller.
Yeah, DJ Moore liked Fields for a reason. Usually wide receivers that play, there's a cohesion there, and he liked
it. It wasn't his performance that got him benched on the Steelers last year either. That's something else you got to consider.
Yep.
It was not. It was literally the fact that if he played more games than a couple more games throughout the season, they would have had to pay him a fat stack. And they were like, nah.
No, I think that it would have affected their draft pick.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, because it was going to become a better pick if he didn't play a certain amount of games.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and instead they played Russell Wilson all year and went for 9-8.
Barely played Fields at times, like just a spot to run here or there.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault that he got benched. It was literally strategic for that team.
Yeah, I think he's got a good opportunity there. But the Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, they round out my basically, we'll call that 18 through 11.
Yeah.
And some of these guys obviously
mine is like the 21 to 11 is my fourth tier. That's what I'm calling that.
Okay, yeah, the three guys I have after Trevor Lawrence are Matthew Stafford, because I'm not sure if he's back. I don't know what to think of that.
I have him at 23, so he's not even necessarily in my fourth tier.
Yeah, I have him at 19.
Yeah, he could be better with Puka and what's his face? I can't. Devontae Adams. Yeah, I keep forgetting Adams is on the Rams now. It's so weird.
Yeah, and then I have Drake May at 20 because of rushing upside, I think.
I have May at 15.
Yeah, and then I have McCarthy at 21.
Okay.
Because I do think his weapons are good.
Yeah, no,
if he can put the ball where it needs to be put.
I have him in the top 7. I have him 17 or 18.
Okay.
And then I have Stroud around 14 or 15 with Purdy. Goff is my 13, which I have him there because I definitely think that they are still going to be one of the best offenses in the league. I think that they definitely take a hit with their center being hurt. or I guess retired. My mistake. And then also with Ben Johnson being gone, I think that does potentially hurt Goff. I do still think that if Jameson Williams has a breakout, there's almost no way that Goff doesn't pan out in some senses.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are trying to get a late round quarterback and you're a believer in JMO this year, I definitely say maybe think about getting Goff if you're just going to punt the position entirely in a 12-man or something. Also, he's a great second quarterback in double quarterback leagues or in
if you have a super flex, or even if you just like to carry a bench quarterback for whatever reason. I'm never going to hate on that.
No.
And too many injuries happen, and then all of a sudden your guy goes down, and then boom, next thing you know, you're scrapping for Aaron Rodgers
quite literally
on the Steelers, which is not the Aaron Rodgers you want necessarily. So we believe that these guys give you good promise at quarterback, not a lot of bad floor games, good floor games, and good peaks. Not the best, but good, really good.
So who's your next guy at 11? Because I'm
that was
curious.
Caleb. I said already.
Okay, that was Caleb. Yeah. So my 11 is a guy where it's more based on the fact that I think his wide receiver might level up, and if that happens, I feel like they could just have a better year this year in general. Kyler Murray is my 11, right next to Justin Fields, where they kind of are the top of that fourth tier to me. Where if you didn't get a top 10 dude, in my opinion, they're not bad, dart throws to try and get a Russian quarterback.
You said you have Kyler at 11?
Yeah.
That's funny. He's my 10th.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that there's almost no chance that Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't better this year. He already was really good as a rookie.
And they've talked about how they're trying to, they've worked on a repertoire and they've worked on things together to try to get that chemistry.
He has McBride, who's one of the best tight ends. From what I've heard, their second running back, who's your boy, is going to have a big blow up this year. Not James Conner. That guy is
Trey Benson. Yeah,
Trey Benson is about to be good from what they're saying.
I'm glad
he's a really good college guy.
In our dynasty, I tried to trade him on draft day multiple times during the draft, and no one bit. And I'm like, y'all are going to be sorry. Like,
we'll see.
I didn't want to necessarily trade him, but I was looking that was a trade piece that I could use
100%.
And so that got me kind of like thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? Hey, if I don't trade him, I don't trade him. Now, James Conner, Kyler Murray, they both have said that Benson's going to be in for a bigger year. So that'll be good to see if that does end up happening, and I'm excited for that.
I don't think I had him on my rankings initially, and I do need to change that. Just like my top 50, you know what I mean? Like I think I definitely need to change that. But yeah, Kyler, I think with his rushing upside has always been a dude that's capable of being top 10 or having even top 7, top 6 type of seasons. He hasn't looked that as good as a top 10 running or quarterback necessarily in the last couple of years.
Draft room is open, by the way.
All right, definitely. We're gonna pull that up. Where are you, draft room? Let me see. How do I get in there? I'm so confused.
Unfortunately, I have to draft on my phone because the computer is just still crapping itself, but that's okay.
Join my draft. There it is. Voila. Okay. But yeah, I think Kyler is a dude that just he's capable of being a top 10 type of quarterback on any given week. If they are better this season, it's going to reflect it with him. But yeah, he's just outside of the top 10 because he's not necessarily a dude I'm looking to necessarily draft this year.
No, I mean, again, it depends on your situation.
Yeah, that's for me. I would say that's for me in a 10-team league, but in a 12, I definitely would be more intrigued in him. Just I don't know. Just watching that pick that he threw in preseason, I'm just like, I know he's having fun. It looked like he was having a good time, which is cool, but it was just a really bad pick. He wasn't even looking. Like he's trying to do a no-look pass. And
not a fun thing to watch.
Threw it right to the defender. It was like, oh goodness.
Yeah, hopefully he cleans stuff like that up. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
All right, I'm on the clock real quick. I've been taking Jahmyr Gibbs all offseason at this pick at 2. And I feel like I should change it up and maybe take Bijan in this one just because it's good to change things up once in a while. And he's my other boy. So Chase and Bijan off the board at 1 and 2.
3 goes Saquon.
4 is
Jahmyr.
Okay.
See if Justin Jefferson falls to the 6. Yes, he does. Oh, yep, he went 6. Okay. CD and JJ. Now it's McCaffrey, Puka, Neighbors, and Amon-Ra at the top.
That makes sense. Who's your 10th? Or you already said your 10th quarterback, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Tyler.
My 10th is Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I have
him at 13.
Oh, okay. I think with the addition of George Pickens, it's gonna be a little better for Dak this year. I've always thought he's not a bad fantasy quarterback. I think literally statistically he's maybe been better than Mahomes in the last couple of years when he's been healthy at times.
I mean, Mahomes the last 2 years hasn't been that good for fantasy.
Hasn't had to do as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Dak Prescott, and I think that just again him having Pickens and an actual second wide receiver to throw to that's in his prime, and a dude that is potentially a top 15 type of wide receiver in the league. Like it's going to be good for him this year, I think.
I went Ashton Genty at the 108 after McCaffrey went, and then it goes Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Derrick Henry, and Chase Brown. Puka falls back to me at this pick, but I am not going to take that. I'm actually going to go with a running back I trust, a running back I love, a running back I went over in this episode, and a guy I think that's poised for another good season and some, season to remind people who he really is. I'm going to go with Jonathan.
Taylor.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I knew who you were talking about.
Yeah.
And then goes Puka at 2.4, Nico Collins at 2.5. I think I have Nico Collins in my top 7 high key in my overall rankings. I think that dude's gonna be really good this year.
And I like Collins. If he could stay healthy, that would be another good season. Hopefully, under his belt, him and CJ could get back to where not even back to where, just improve it more to where they're in the conversation with the best QB wide receiver duos as like Jamar Chase and Joe and guys of that nature.
The last 3 picks, 2.6 was Amon-Ra, 2.7 was Drake London, 2.8 Josh Jacobs.
And I already talked about it here.
This guy's a go. Bowers. I'm taking Bowers. I gotta take. He's the best tight end in the league at 2.9. I feel like in a 10-man league, I'm getting an advantage there. I could monopolize the position and get McBride. That would be an interesting build right here. But
and then you're really making the rest of the league very scarce at tight end, and you have trade baited that if that's the case in the real thing. But that's up to you, man.
In the 10-team league, I'm gonna fucking try it. One of them's gonna be my flex. One of them's gonna be my tight end.
Actually, not a bad look. You're literally getting the best 2 on the board, and that takes away from the rest of the league.
And I have Bijan at running backs,
and they're essentially the number 1 targets on their team, basically. So
they are. Last year, McBride was the number 1 target, and then on the Cardinals, and then Bowers was literally broke the record for most receptions for a tight end in a season. So,
So here is a very interesting pick for me. Devontae's great. I'm not going to really dabble into that too much because of his age. Quarterbacks are great.
Oh, no, I just realized Bowers and McBride have the same buy. My bad.
No, you're good. I'm going to go Hampton here because I really love Hampton and him being on the Chargers, his situation. You're basically looking at my team with Genty, Taylor, and Hampton, and you have no running back issues at all. So that's something that, yes, 2 of them are rookies, but we've talked about it before on this show that there's definitely something to be said about rookies in the top first-round rookies.
I would say first-round rookies in the last 10 years, and it's part of my whole eye test thing and trying to do a series on just the rookies that the 2 of us have looked into and just the stats over the last 10 years. Every single rookie in the first round over the last 10 years has quite literally been a number one running back.
Yep. And I was thinking about JSN here.
The fact TreVeyon Henderson won at 4-1 is crazy. I knew he was going up the boards, but man, I wanted to get him with my next pick, and he's gone.
Yeah, that would have been nice. That would have been something to really solidify a good part of your team right there, because that's another good running back that we're high on, that we like his opportunity. We do not think Ramondre is really a threat to his abilities. Speaking of TreVeyon Henderson, there's not really a case in my head that TreVeyon loses any type of work, or he'll only get better. He'll only increase his job.
After him, there was a string of quarterbacks. Hurts, you took Burrow after Hurts.
I did.
Lamar and Daniels went after that. And the fact that Jackson Smith-Njigba is here for me at the end of the 4th round, please give me that.
Yep.
He was literally a number 1 wide receiver last year.
Yeah, I'm partial to Joe. I also think he's going to be an MVP. That's why this year, which I don't think is short of anyone's imagination. I think everyone could agree that that's in the realm of possibility. The other part of that too is the odds for Vegas had him at, I think, like 12 or 14, something egregious kind of for his MVP odds, like 1,400 plus 1,200.
I'm taking Chuba Hubbard as my second running back.
I like that pick.
But I wanted Wilson to fall to me, but the guy in between my 2 picks took James Cook and Garrett Wilson. Great value for him at that spot. 5-1.
Last note real quick.
Gosh.
Joe's odds did move to like plus 650 or plus 600 if I'm not mistaken. So he'll have a nice opportunity. I have not drafted much of this guy at all. But the fact he's playing and the fact I need a wide receiver, I think I'll go with him. Rashee Rice.
Interesting. Yeah, he's not going to get suspended the first 4 weeks of the season.
I wanted Marvin, but he obviously got taken right before me.
It's likely he'll get a 6-game suspension, though, at some point. And if things work out the way I think they will, there is still a chance that Rashee Rice does get that suspension as soon as week 5. And then from week 5 all the way to week 10, he's just literally not going to be able to play. And that's the majority of your fantasy season, folks. So, I mean, we don't know for sure that's how it's going to play out. So I don't mind you taking that stab there and just, trying it out.
I need a wide receiver 1. And if he's playing, he's going to be Mahomes' favorite target aside from Kelsey. And even then, he when he was healthy, he was going nuts.
Yeah, he was doing ridiculous. Oh, my God. Ted went this early? No, stop it.
So this is an interesting spot for me because I mean, hey, let's say Rashee Rice does get suspended. Cool. We have Xavier Worthy.
Okay, that is cool.
And I'm not necessarily going to start that week to week with the both of them. Maybe in a great matchup where they're playing bad secondaries. But that, you could pick with a hot hand, and that just gives you some insurance there. Yeah. Plus, getting any type of wide receiver when you have 3 running backs and a quarterback and no wide receivers, at this point, just grab the ones with good quarterbacks and good opportunities, much like Rice, much like Worthy.
Sure.
I thought about DK. I thought about DK and DJ, but DK is an interesting spot. I'd never seen him with Rodgers, and DJ. There's a lot of weapons there, and I know he probably just had his best season.
Okay, so. Jameson just got sniped from me. I love him.
I thought about him as well.
Oh, DJ Moore is still on the board. That's tough. Okay, I'm gonna I apologize to everyone, including myself, but I have to do this. I'm gonna take Baker Mayfield as my quarterback here. There's 2 autos between me. Hawkinson and DJ Moore went. Please, please, please give me Egbuka. Where is this man? I don't care if he's my literal. Deep. I really don't care if he's my wide receiver 2 behind JSN. I will take that. That is a beautiful roster in my opinion already. Baker, Bijan, Chuba, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Egbuka, wide receiver 2, Bowers, and McBride as my tight end and flex. I know that's a crazy build, but to me, that's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's something that's different. It's something that you could wake up on a Sunday and be excited to watch a different type of lineup go out there for you, try to get you wins.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, especially now that McMillan is going to miss some time. That stack of Baker and Egbuka seems like a steal. Like to me, Baker can easily be a top 5 quarterback again this season, the way he was playing last year with the talent they have on their team. Bucky's looking ridiculous still. that's not their offense is loaded even with a bunch of guys hurt, like Ibuka and and Evans. That's still two excellent wide receivers, and then you still got Cade Otton at tight end, which honestly, he looks more intriguing to me now that they lost McMillan for a little bit. Like Cade Otton's a good tight end. But I still believe in Baker highly, though, and pairing him with Ibuka this year definitely feels like a steal to me with where they're at. Damn, you got Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, I really believe it was him or Odunze. I don't really care for Godwin, Olave, Jacoby Myers, all okay players, but I need someone that I can count on week to week. And it sounds really it looked a lot like what we saw on the practice field when we were watching the Raiders joint practice with the Niners.
Yeah, we went to that, and
it was focal point.
It was beautiful watching it. I'm not gonna lie, too. When I was working the Raiders game the other day, it was really cool to see that they used Pearsall a lot, often and early.
Yeah, and from what I've heard as well about Pearsall is that he's talking to Brock Purdy constantly, always asking him, "Hey, can I do this better? Can I do that better? How can I improve here for your throws?" And that's what you want from your wide receiver. Getting connection at the best possible type of connection you could ever have with your guy, and there be no mistaking who's gonna go to down
the fact that Odunze was there at 8-9 made it hard not to grab him.
I love that.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't taken him in any draft, but I'm taking Quinshon Judkins here. I think
I like that a lot.
As early second round pick, even with the stuff that's going on, if he plays this year, he's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, right here you see a lot of receivers kind of get picked in and out in between certain spots, and there's a lot of running backs on the board in a row, all of which you kind of have to either have a preference or not for those guys, and it's kind of an interesting spot. At least right here for me too, it's an interesting spot.
Oh, why is he so high? Bill, he's so high now.
Yeah, we're just gonna get him.
You took Jacory now.
You might as well. I mean, that's early in the 9th, but if you're really thinking of him like
he's gonna be
the guy that gets those touches.
Him and Eckler are literally gonna be there 1 and 2.
Yep, there's no doubt about that because of the fact Chris Rodriguez is good, but he'll be more of a spell guy. Yeah. McNichols probably be out of the equation almost altogether, and you will have Bill, and then
we're definitely going with some interesting drafts right now. But so much has changed in the last couple of days where it's like
you're kind of. I mean, at this point, again, we've reiterated on this show as well, and just our focal point of drafting. Do not listen necessarily to the rankings are a good guide to give you who's been good player, whatever the case may be.
Following the rankings is not going to win you championships, though.
Correct. Correct. I won last year by not doing that.
You can for sure get auto-picked the championship team, which it's rare, but I've seen it happen.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately. But it's possible, but it's just you got to have your priors and your own rankings, in my opinion, to truly be able to succeed in fantasy.
Yeah,
it feels so much better too.
So I went Pittman there simply because I don't think Pittman's a 10th round pick.
Yeah,
that was just value. I like Pittman. I have nothing against him.
And we haven't talked about it live yet, but in one of our streams or pre-recorded streams that we'll release at some point, just another little mock draft that we did. We talked about how one of our league mates in the last couple of days basically said, like, it feels like a changing of the guard type of season. And really, there's just so much depth this year in terms of fantasy and just guys that you could take a shot on that it kind of does feel like there's like Keenan Allen is probably going to still be there in the 11th round, folks. He's a great receiver. I know he's old as hell, but that's the kind of thing. I'm taking Javonte Williams because I feel like here in almost the 11th round, he could have the opportunity to where he's literally probably going to be their starting running back. Dallas is going to be scoring a lot probably. That just feels like a steal.
Just a note as well, I'm also noticing right now Brian Robinson Jr. has dropped to the 117 while JCM bumped to the 120.
Yeah.
So that already shows you they almost have him past them.
It's hard not to take one of those running backs up there, but I feel like I got to go with the rookie Jaden Higgins to try and take a shot on a dude that could be a difference maker. I don't know if he's that good.
Yeah, I think they're technically looking for a wide receiver too, no?
Yeah, for sure. Because last year they had Diggs and he got hurt.
And they have Christian Kirk, but Christian Kirk's also coming off an injury.
The thing with him too is that he's like high key a mini Nico Collins. Like they play very similarly, in my opinion. I don't even know about size being mini, but just like Nico's the A and he's the B in terms of their prototype and just how they play, in my opinion. And he's really good. I've seen some plays that he's made in camp and practice. Tyler Warren went off the board, which even with the 2 tight ends that I have, seeing him and Pitts go, I'm like, I don't know about debate, but it's like even when I see them, I'm like, oh, they could be so good this year. Someone's getting a steal with them. Like,
yep.
That's just how I feel, though. I will say I do have Jordan Love much lower in my quarterback rankings than I think you do.
I don't think I do.
I have him at 20.
I'm at 17.
Okay, so we're similar. I personally don't think that there's much of a upside for him to be a top 10 guy this year again, strictly because of Josh Jacobs. I think that was the main reason why he wasn't able to do it last year, on top of the fact he was hurt. The Dak Prescott being here just feels like that's a guy that should be taken.
I mean, you have Baker, and it wouldn't hurt to get a second guy that you could just go with.
True.
Goff and McCarthy are also there.
I'm taking Scadaboo first because I feel like he could be a steal at running back, even with Tyron Tracy in the backfield. I know he was kind of banged up at points in the preseason too, but to me, he's just a difference maker at running back, and I think he's going to actually end up taking that more of the starting role at some point throughout the year. I feel great taking Loveland here and just absolutely screwing everybody else out of tight ends. So I'm doing that. I'll trade one throughout the season if I have to.
Yeah, whatever you got to do. You know?
Yeah, no, I like this.
Right here, because of I have 4 running backs, but to have a 5th as ETN kind of seems a little silly. I don't think he should still be here. I know.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Scadaboo being mine. So I get you.
Yeah, I'll grab ETN there. No issues about that. That late, I was a big fan of his coming out of college too, and then I became a bigger fan of Jamar's after watching tape and just watching the season that they've had and whatnot. I was big on ETN. What I should say is before he even was entering the draft.
This, the one thing about this team that I'm building right now, I feel like even though I love Egbuka and I like Odunze, I feel like could make a big second-year leap. I feel so scared about the receiving depth I have. And Jigba I'm not worried about, but Egbuka's my 2. And then I have Odunze and Higgins as my other receivers right now. And that's like Higgins is my 4th receiver. That's a little scary to me, even though I don't think he's going to be bad. It just feels like I'm relying a lot on young guys at the moment, which I kind of am.
It's okay. I mean, I have a few young guys in my lineup too, but we've talked about it. We've seen year after year the young guys get the work, the young guys get the production when they have the draft capital, and even some that don't end up in great situations.
Speaking of which, the guy I think is not in a good situation, Luther Burden is super talented in my opinion, but I would not take him at all this year because of the amount of players that they have. I don't know who to grab right now. I'm taking Tillman. I feel like he could be a dart throw that could be a difference maker the way he looked last year. Maybe there was some other type of dude I could have checked lower, but I wasn't looking through the rankings. I'll take Steelers D. I don't mind taking a
TJ Watt.
Yeah, that's a dude that's literally going to get almost a point most weeks just from a sack. So why not?
Yep. I don't mind that. Here, wow, the defense I wanted just got taken. So I'll take Jake Bates. I'll take the advantage with the kicker. He's in a dome for half of his games.
I like it. They're going to score a lot of points.
They score a lot of points. They're always in the position to do so. Sure, they go for it on 4th down, but Jake Bates is the number 1 ranked kicker for a reason, folks.
Straight up.
Yep. Here is a tough one. This at this point is like not necessarily you stream defenses, but you kind of just pick your poison, whatever you like.
Who's at the top of the board? I'm curious.
It says Bills, Colts, Jets, Giants, Bucks. In my opinion, there's two that I'm really looking at here. And I think I'm going to stick with the Jets unit because I still like, when healthy, they are still a good unit. They had a lot of injuries last year. Hopefully this year they can make a step up. And my other option, though, there was the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs defense there, or the Giants, but Giants play a lot of good offenses in their division, so it'd be tough for me to take that.
This is tough for me because I'm trying to find a kicker that'll probably score a lot of. Oh, you know who's probably going to be
McPherson.
Fuck it, Cam Little.
Yep, not a bad pick at all. Not a bad pick.
I think they're going to kick a lot of field goals this year and score a lot of points. So
yeah, and we'll stay online here for a sec, just so we can
recap our draft.
Well, yeah, well, you get the email right about
your draft grade.
Yes,
usually I feel like I get a C every time, and
I have gotten C's, A's, B's, but mainly C. Yeah, it's going to give me a C again. But
I would say with how early I picked Buka, it's probably going to give me, and like the 2 tight end thing, I feel like it's going to give me a bad rating.
I mean, it's going to tell me that I reach probably on certain things, but at the same time, if you look at my running backs, I have no fear with running backs, and Genty, Taylor, and Hampton. Joe's going to give you probably the most touchdowns in the league, or close to it again. You're also
we both think he's going to be probably the MVP this year.
Yeah, and then my wide receiver, like my top 4.
Oh, this is one of my first B report draft cards. That's insane. Interesting.
Yeah, it's telling my weakness is my wide receiver, but having Rashee Rice, Worthy, Devontae Smith, Ricky Pearsall, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. Those are all guys that you can plug in any given week, and they'll give you solid weeks, especially with my running backs and Joe.
Yeah, I feel great about having Chuba as my 2 behind Bijan. The 2 of them.
I haven't made a team quite like this yet either.
Neither have I. And honestly, the Bowers-McBride thing looks pretty beautiful.
Yeah, and granted, I probably won't take Rashee Rice in the real draft because of the fact that I'm not sure what the situation is going to end up being. But it's not a bad idea if you believe that his whatever the process is will extend past this year rather than happen this year.
With my Judkins pick later on, which he was my second player on the bench, I kind of was looking for Dylan Sampson later on, even though I got Javonte too and Cam Scatterbo, but then I didn't end up finding him. But if I compare the 2 of them in a redraft, I would not mind having whoever the Browns running back is. But yeah, I definitely took some shots on rookie receivers too, and young receivers with Odunze having a second season or a second year breakout, hopefully. But I like my construction overall, and I'm a little shocked that they gave me a B, but I'm happy about it. It's an interesting.
It's also ESPN, so we'll both take it with a grain of salt.
True that.
Good or bad.
True that. It's probably also because in a 10-team, a tight end, having 2 tight ends like that is quite literally monopolizing the position. So,
Yep. But I'd say that was a successful, fun draft, kind of different than normal, and I think we got our points across in terms of different off-season things and things to look at,
and who this year's Bucky could be, because who knows? Maybe it's going to be Bill, maybe it's going to be Dylan, but probably Bill.
Could be someone else.
Yeah, who knows? And just
plenty of other guys. Do your research.
Yes,
like I always say.
Yes, indeed. Otherwise, though, we definitely have some more content coming up in the next couple of days. We've been going to Raiders training camp all preseason and checking out a ton of stuff with that. So I actually have a video that I've been putting together that hopefully will come out in the next week or 2 here before the season starts for sure.
Yeah.
And then we're definitely going to be starting some more lives here and doing a lot more mock drafts before the season starts. So make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. A lot more fun stuff coming here on the Double Down. And thank you for watching, because we really, really appreciate it.
Yep.
I'll see you. Oh,
I was just going to say, be easy. Tune in next time, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. And tell your loved ones you love them. Have a great night. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Oh, it's not doing it.